Hello, everyone. So, finally, the part three, which you have been waiting for so long. I really apologize for the delay because I was super sick. Still am, but I figured I should make this video while I'm alive. Okay, here we go. I hope you guys remember where we left off in part two. We're gonna move forward, and our aim is to finally finish the loop, which is to say that once we have done what the state was supposed to do, for example, it was searching for something, how to get that information out and what to do with it. Like, you know, at, at the end of part two, you were right that the loop wasn't complete. So we're gonna complete the functionality of a state machine, and so that you guys know how to move forward with it and make more states and have them be useful. So here we go. Last time we were sorry about that. This is the QBI script where we left off. This is the search for script we left off, and this is the state machine. And as we said, we won't be touching the state machine again since it's just like a cartridge clear for us. Now, what we need to do first is remove certain things from the search for cartridge, which we had added just for testing. One of them was this navmesh agent reference. We don't need it anymore since it's not our responsibility to move the cube boy. So I'm going to remove it from our constructor as well. And I'm going to remove this line because we don't want to move it. I'm just going to comment it for now so you guys know how we're replacing that functionality and what are we doing with it. Next step is we want to, instead of like just moving the guy to where we found the first object, if you remember, we're breaking here. In other words, we're saying the first time you find an object that meets our requirement, just go there. That won't do for now. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna figure out a way to package this information which we have been requested to search for. In other words, we want this information to be packaged and sent back to whoever owns the state machine. So how are we going to do that? There are quite a few ways, but I'm going to teach you the way that is the most efficient and the best possible way. However, it might sound and look complicated, but it is not. Okay, so bear with me. This is going to be really interesting, and if you learn this, it's going to help you a lot in every way. So we're going to make a new class, public class, search results. Okay, this is our packaging class. Okay, now I made it in the same file as search for because the search for class relies on this class for packaging. It is public, however, so you will be able to use this class in other places. But the idea is if you copy paste this script, the search for script, in a new game, because our idea is we want them to be reusable, this class will come along with it. You won't have to copy two classes, or sorry, two files. Only one file will do. So that's why this class is inside that same file. However, you can totally imagine this to be a separate script file as well. Okay, public class search result. So, okay. Now, what are the two things we want to give back? Okay, so we're looking for a specific tag, but we are discarding the rest of them. Okay, we don't want to do that anymore. We want to send back all the information we gathered, and that would mean we want to send back all the objects that required our search criteria back because we are not in a position to decide what's useful or what's not. We're just have been ordered to find objects that have a specific tag in our search radius. So this is what we're going to do. First of all, we're going to tell the packaging class that you're going to contain an array of all the, well, in fact, all hit objects in search radius. Okay, so in a way, if someone was not looking for a specific tag, they could still use this cartridge and end up with all the things in my search radius. Okay, that could be a useful information. There's no point not sending it. Okay, so let's send it. Okay, now next important information would be we want to send back a list of colliders that have the tag we were looking for. So all hit objects with required tag. Okay, so these are the ones we were actually looking for in our specific example. These were all the food items we found out in our search radius. Okay, and the next thing we're going to do is, which I hope you remember, is a constructor. Okay, so we're going to make a constructor. In fact, I'm going to use the shortcut, but I'm going to explain again how that works. Okay, so oops, sorry, God. Okay, so here's the test. We're saying whenever you create a search results packaging object, be sure to provide these two things. Otherwise, what the hell am I packaging? So this is what you're packaging. Okay. After this, remember, this probably won't be in this video, but what you can also do is do some processes on these objects by doing some method calls here. Method calls to further process this data. Okay, so what you could do is have, say, even provide more things like the closest object, farthest object, or okay, so it's totally up to you how good of a packaging object you want to make the search results into. So to remove the load of further processing from the users or the queue boy who's going to be using this package. So it's totally up to you. You can have the closest object, the farthest object, the object with the highest object, lowest object, whatever, like, depends on what kind of information you think would be generally useful. But we're going to do these two for now. A list of all the objects which have the tag and all the objects in the search radius. Okay, so these two are kind of the most basic information we want to return back. Okay, now next thing we want to do is here in this place. Now we want to make sure the loop keeps running till it finds out all the objects with the food item, so we won't be breaking anymore. I remove the break. Next we need a list, and you guessed it right, of colliders, which will be all objects with the required tag. Okay, is equal to new list of colliders. Okay, and we should probably do var because that's what Microsoft suggests doing for the local variables. Okay, so all objects with my required tag is equal to new list collider. Now we want to fill this list up with anything that's triggering this if. In other words, if it has a tag we were looking for. So what we're going to do is all objects, the same field we made up there, dot add, and we're going to add whichever object has, triggered the if. And there we go. Now this is going to run and it's going to populate our list for us. Okay, so now we have a list of all the objects which have the tag and an array of, you could always convert it to a list if you wanted to, but I'm using list here, array, because that's the default what it gives, and a list here because I prefer using list, and it's, it's more, how do I, human readable. Okay, now we have these two objects. Now comes the time to package them. Okay, now we're going to package that information neatly. So after this loop runs, we're going to say var search results is equal to new search results, and we're going to package that information in there, comma, all objects with the required tag. So now we have this neatly packaged object in here, but it's a local variable. So as soon as this execute finishes up, it's going to forget about it. We don't want that. This is where we should send the information back, right? Okay, so this is the time which we were waiting for. Now comes the very interesting part, which is, okay, we send the information back here, right? Which I'm keeping a surprise for you. But there's another thing I'm noticing here, which is that it is gonna keep looking for the same objects, right? Do we want that? Well, it depends. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna teach this cartridge to stop looking for things once you have returned that information. So that is going to turn our search for cartridge into a one use kind of cartridge. So you plug it in and it returns some packaged information for you, and then it doesn't use any processing power. You could always, rerun the cartridge again if you want to look for food again, which to me looks like a more important use case than keep looking for it. Okay, so we're going to do that. It makes more sense to have a cartridge that looks for it, returns information, and then waits instead of, just eating up your CPU. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to say public, and this one is public because others might want to know if the search cartridge has done its task. So public bool, public bool, search completed. Okay, so I'm not gonna give it a default value because a boolean has a default value of false. Okay, so we're gonna say in execute, we're gonna say if search completed not, if not, in other words, if the search has not been completed, search away, else do nothing. Okay, so this execute will keep running because we don't want to touch the code that is the state machine, okay, or this line. Okay, so the update, we don't want to complete the QBoy side of things, we just want to make the cartridge smarter. Okay, so the update, this line will still keep running. Okay, so in other words, this will keep executing, but it won't do anything. Okay, because it's smarter, it knows that I've done the search, don't need to do it anymore. Okay, and once we have sent the information back here, we're gonna say search completed is equal to true, and there you go. Now the cartridge won't do this whole process again. Okay, now comes the most fun part. here's what we're gonna do. We want to send the information back. So what would be the best way to send a package back to our cube boy? Okay, and that is, let me show you. What we're gonna make is, okay, public, no, private, okay, system dot action, okay, of the type that takes search results, and it's gonna be search results callback. Okay, just bear with me. I'm gonna explain this all because you know I'm awesome. Okay, so here's what's happening. We are going to ask for a method. In other words, we are gonna ask for a function that you want us to call whenever we are done with the search. In other words, there will be a method in the QBoy that the QBoy will say, hey, cartridge, run this method when you've done doing this shit. And I'll take it from there. And that method will take search results package. See, it's all coming together now. So public food found. Okay, so we're gonna say food found, and it takes a search results out. In other words, this is the receiving end of that information we ask the cartridge to find. Okay, so this is where the information will end up, and we could always, unpack that package and say variable found food items is equal to search results dot all objects with required tag, and there it is. You unpacked, and you could always do further processes here, but most importantly, you are gonna trigger the eating cartridge here. Once you have decided which food item all out of this list you want to eat, so decide or do whatever your algorithm or the game is, decide what to eat, and then send that information to the eating cartridge, whichever, once you've made that. Okay, so I hope this end is clear to you. So now we want to teach the cartridge how to handle that method. So what we're going to do is simple. We're going to add this search results callback into the constructor of our search for cartridge. So search for cartridge used to take a lot of things, if you remember, right? It takes the tag, it takes all the required information it might need, but now it's also going to ask you for a method. Hey, which method do you want me to call when I'm done searching for whatever you want me to, where to send the information? Okay, so it's now asking you, hey, give me a method. I'll call that method and send you the information. But remember, that method needs to be one that takes search results, because that's how I send that information. Okay, so now, if we go down there, since we now have safely stored that method's reference in our own variable or field, we can call it. So if you go down there, we're gonna say search results callback. That is the name of the method we have been told to call when we're done. So we're gonna do this. Search results callback dot now dot it's gonna ask for search results, and there we go. We called the method we were asked to call, so we're calling that method back, and now we'll end up here, QBoy, and now QBoy can do whatever it wants with that information. And our responsibility, the cartridge's responsibility, is done. That's it. We sent the information back. Now it's up to QBoy to do whatever it wants to do with that information. Now, You could further, complicate this, but we're taking a simple scenario where we just gave back an array and a list, but you could do all kinds of things with it with this. Okay, so now that method that we were given has been given to us, and now we want the cuboid to properly enter the cartridge, and it will say food found with the oh, okay, no, it's a call. Oh yeah, okay. Food found results, which makes no sense. Nope. It's gonna say search results. Okay, whatever. Hmm. Oh, what? Public what? Found food, search results. Correct. Why are you doing this? Hmm. Comma. It's asking for a callback, of course. Food found is our callback, but I don't think I need. Oh, I do. This is weird. Did it add an extra? No, 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 no. This should not happen. Let me quickly test it. Ignore what I'm doing right now. Hmm. Not taking it. I think I'm making a really silly mistake somewhere. Hey, wait a minute. I think I made a script somewhere. Sorry about that. See, I'm a little wonky. I did that before, but I'm not really 100% right now. Search for reload all. And I need the cube as well. Let me quickly import that. What am I doing? It's oh, see, it was a really silly mistake. Oh well, happens. See, this dot do if food found, do if food found. It's working here, but for some reason I think I accidentally skipped something. But no worries. Search results. This doesn't have mesh agent, comma. Oh man. Seriously? We're not supposed to send the nav mesh agent. Damn it. well. Oh well, happens. Did it? Oh, okay. Got it. Okay, sorry. Comma. Okay, so food found. Okay. Now, sorry, I'm not gonna delete that part from the video. um, I'm oh, forget it. Okay, so now we're telling the cartridge to call this method food found once you're done doing whatever you were doing. Okay, so search for is gonna get this information in its constructor. It's gonna keep it here in this variable. Then it's gonna execute when the cuboid comes to his update. It's gonna tell the state machine to do whatever it wants to do, which is execute the current cartridge. Then it's gonna see if it has already done it. If not, it's gonna search for the object. It's gonna do the overlap sphere, put it here. Then it's gonna create a new list for the incoming information. Then it's going to loop around and find out all the objects that have the tag, which will be the food objects. Then it's going to populate that list with it. Then it's going to package that information. Then it's gonna oh, by the way, I did this whole packaging thing because these two information won't be all you might want to send. As I said, you might be processing and giving a really neat set of information which anyone could possibly need. That's why I packaged it. These are just two objects, and you might be wondering why the hell I bothered to package just two items, because I'm hoping you'll get into a habit of doing this, because you could all, this is a really powerful thing. This information can be crunched and made into some really neat nuggets of whatever anyone could need. Okay, so and then we said, okay, package, call that method we were asked to call, and then mark yourself as search has been completed. Okay, so you could always trigger this boolean to be false again, to have it research if you want to do that without taking the cartridge out and reinserting it. Totally up to you. Okay, so now once we're here, we're gonna decide what to eat from the information we have received, and then trigger another cartridge by doing a call like this, or have it neatly packaged into another method called public trigger or whatever, trigger eating. Okay, then you could come here and in this method you could have a neat call made to an eating cartridge, which would basically do whatever is required of that cartridge. Okay, so I hope that closes the loop in your mind for how to work with this. So basically on the cuboid's end, you'll have the whole thing neatly chained up, like, okay, look for food, okay, found it, okay, here, eat it, okay, eat it, now find food again, or like then you could basically, it will be like chaining things together. So like this state goes in, it does its job, and then you get the information back, and then you use that information and trigger another cartridge, or trigger that cartridge again, etc. I hope that clears a lot of things in your mind. I will, and I'm hoping, I'm planning to make a complete series where I will, cover small things like, starting from classes to, what the hell I did with this, system.action, and but I hope you understood, for the sake of this video, that it's simply a way of storing a reference to a method. So that method is this method inside that specific instance of the cuboid. Okay, so if there were multiple cuboids, their own found foods will run. Okay, each one of them has its own found food instance. Okay, so this is it for now, and pray or wish, whichever you believe in, for my health. I'm super could do with getting better. Take care, guys, and thanks for watching, and thanks for your patience.